Evening, all. Welcome along to Monday Night Show. In a week where football is back. Football is back, baby. It's real football. It's for real people. It's for the public. It's for everything that's going on. I, of course, haven't been on for a while. I sent in Mini Me only a few days back. And
Fantastic it was.
he did as
was
good a
a
job
boss.
as I would ever, right? So I'd said I'll just leave you all with that.
I need to make
You know?
arrangements to have him on again because I
That's-
genuinely thoroughly enjoy the conversation, where it went and everything.
I'm glad I'm happy. He can come on anytime you want because it saves me having to talk to him. So it's like it's great.
So I'm just babysitting for you. Is that what it is? Gav, I need you to babysit for an hour. Listen, set up a show there, will you?
I had to send because as you both know, I've 4 kids, so I had to send the other two. One of them was in bed, so he's my eldest son. I have two boys, 2 girls, right? And he's my eldest. But my youngest son, who's only 2 and a bit, he's more mad. And he would come on, Gav, and talk to you as well. So he's the maddest of the 4.
All right,
And
relax.
he's like,
This isn't the fucking Brady bunch for hosting here. Like, you know what I mean? Like every week, Phil rolls out ones of his chiselers to fucking talk to Gav.
Yeah.
Like,
instead of me.
I'm shocked. I actually thought you had 3 kids, not 4. To be honest with you, I'm trying to
No,
work
4.
out. I'm trying to work out all of them now.
No,
Your eldest is a girl.
yeah.
Your second youngest is a boy, and then it's a girl boy again, isn't it?
It goes girl boy.
Yes. All right. Now I'm with you.
There's balance. There's balance in this force. I'm like Liam Neeson. I was neither the light side or the dark side. I was the grey side. I had balance. The rest of them didn't, right? And you wouldn't know what all that's about because you've never watched Star Wars. I was standing here listening to what he was talking about, so just to be on the safe side, because you always have to. There has to be a sensor. I had a shepherd's hook
Hold
ready
on,
to
from the
grab him.
safe side, from his side, or what you thought I was going to say to him?
No, you're grand. I don't know what he's going to come out with. Do you know
Well,
what
I
I mean?
didn't mind. He could say whatever he wanted.
He was
could
great.
say what everyone's. Yeah, he was grand. But I was just like trying to figure out what's going on. Good evening, everyone, and welcome in. We've had an eventful weekend of real football. After what was going on for the last 2 weeks, I don't know what was going on for the last. Let's be honest about it. I haven't talked about international football in donkeys, and I actually think it's dead and it needs to be eliminated from the world at this point.
I never
in
watch
time. Right? It needs to be gone. It just needs to be put in a bin. Never talked about again. They killed the World Cup at the last one, so there's no point talking about it. And it's a very annoying. It just wrecks seasons, wrecks the interest in the season that's going on. We could have got like more matches out of the way and have a nice, easy middle of May onwards, like it used to be back in the 80s. So football would end in a nice point into May, start of May. You'd have the European Cup in the middle of May, and we'd all bugger off then.
Me and you do this every every time an international break comes around. Me and you end up waffling on this show for 15 minutes as to why we should
just hate
kill
the international break.
football.
Just
Yeah.
hate international
Just let it
football.
go.
Right? Let it go.
It's
Just
never
like
gonna
Elsa
change.
in Frozen, let it
Yeah,
go.
let it
right?
go.
Yeah. Right, joining me tonight, I've got in the house. Where's see, I'm on opposites. Well, you can put the fingers this way, so I'm on opposites. So if I go this way, there's Kev over this side, which is actually the opposite way I'm looking, and there's Gav over this side. So I'm learning how to do this. Really, I'm getting very professional. So yeah, that's the crack. It's April Fool's Day. One of the big ones that's going on in Ireland at the moment, we don't know if it's real or not, right? So I'm off doing my typical let's go for a run across mountains and whatever it is. And I'm running across loads of signs today up in Ticknock, advising us that the grey wolf has been reintroduced to the forests of the Dublin Mountains. And I was there going, oh, that's interesting. I like nature, so that's great. So just nature's great. And I don't
Nature
mind
chasing your fucking bike.
don't mind wolves. Actually, don't mind wolves.
Do you think this was an April Fool's thing?
It is an April Fool's thing. So I don't mind the wolves because, to be honest, there's not no record in history of wolves attacking a human in attack mode. Right? They've only ever attacked in defense mode. So we shouldn't be scared of wolves. Sheep should be scared of wolves, and calves, they should be scared of wolves. Baby deer will be scared of wolves, and they all live in the forest. But that's how nature works, right? It's nature's way. It's the cycle of nature. It's all grand.
What's going on here? What?
Right. So,
Amen,
anyway,
Ryan.
Like honestly,
Like-
no, I don't mean in the. Like, Phil, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here?
so the signposts up everywhere. Proper signposts is
Right.
caution.
Okay.
We've reintroduced the grey wolf into the Dublin Mountains, right, and had a list of what to do if you encounter a grey wolf. Right?
But it was an April Fool's.
It was an April Fool because when you get into the list of things, basically the first thing that starts off getting a group so the wolf won't come near you, ideally in a pyramid shape because they don't like triangles. So you went down to the last one was trip up your friend and run.
Okay. All right.
So I was there going. I was just waiting for Virgin Media News to run it as the main story, like they did that time. Your man dug the hole down on the beach in Portmarnock, and they thought it was. Remember that?
He actually ended up getting Dublin Moment of the Year in an awards ceremony ran by 98 FM during the week. Absolutely off the chain, Matt. But come here, do you know the way I want to say something to you from last show? I learned a couple of things last night on the show from Shawnee about Arsenal, and I want you to look these up because I doubt you know about this, but you're gonna want to look into them, right? So, you know the story about Michael Arteta bringing out the speakers in training and playing "You'll Never Walk Alone" in Arsenal's training ground.
No.
Right, so a couple of seasons back, he brought out big speakers into Arsenal's ground. Cobham, I think, is where their training ground is. Brings these
Bluetooth
speakers out, plays "You Never Walk Alone," bangs it out, right, while they're playing, while they're training in the run-up to a game away at Liverpool. That was his way of getting them used to the Liverpool atmosphere, right?
Right.
Really, I don't know why, because "You Never Walk Alone's played before the game, not during it. But anyway, I knew about this, but two things I didn't know about was they have a song that they now play before the game. You know the way Liverpool play "You Never Walk Alone"?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. They have one called "North London Forever," which was done by some bloke, but apparently it's about brazzers and drugs, right? But Arsenal think it's great because it says "North London Forever," right?
Right.
Okay, and they play that, so you need to go and look at that. Plus, they also have a dog. They have a training ground owned dog at the training ground, and it's called Win. They have a dog and it's called Win. So there's some facts about Arsenal for you that I didn't know last night. They blew me away.
Has the dog got a brother called A Lot? And they could have been set up to do some sponsorship there with Win A Lot.
Yeah. No, I'm not too sure. But I just thought, when I heard this stuff last night and it was blowing me away, I just thought to myself, Jesus, right, I'll tell Phil about this because you be into that.
Yeah, I guess what, Gav?
You know,
Guess
don't
what?
care.
I honestly don't care.
No, seriously. Yeah, apparently you need to go and listen to the lyrics to this song that they've taken on us. They're like literally their version. There, "You'll Never Walk Alone." Go and listen to it. You know what I mean?
I will. When
But
I get a spare moment, when I meet the wolves up in the mountains, and we're doing actually sing and dance was option 2 in the event that you come across the wolves. Then I'll do you know what I'll do? I'll definitely play the Arsenal song for them.
No, just go and look it up. And like Red Steve is right. He says a dog. However, the Everton of them, of course, Everton have the best dog, which was the big Alsatian that they brought in to G up the crowds last season to help them stave off relegation, which is a fantastic dog. So there you go. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you about them things because they're weird, and I think they're really weird.
Right.
That's what they're up.
Great. That's great. Thanks for sharing. Thanks.
No problem.
It's interesting that Arsenal have a song and they have a dog,
a
pet dog.
Yeah,
and it says a lot. If it's true, it says a lot about Mikel Arteta. He's an enormous weirdo. But however, Gav, I've sent you a picture there, so you can have it at some. We might discuss it towards the end, right? Because we can actually go through the lessons to be learned if you come across a grey wolf in TikTok, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right, we read them out. Yeah, we read them out. Yeah,
right, lads. 3 topics. We want to be out of here by 11 because I'm wrecked. I basically was like a wolf last night. I ate, I think, a whole lamb to myself. To be totally honest with you, it wasn't the best bit of food stuff ahead of the race this Saturday. But yeah, I'd eaten a whole lamb. Maybe it's getting a bit.
Oh, he's at the freezing. I wonder will he come back?
He'll catch up there in a minute.
Hold on.
He'll be grand.
Hold on. Nerves are gone here now. He's frozen. Phil has frozen. Look, that's what happens when you don't care. It's just karma. Karma. Someone says there, actually, we were waiting for Phil to sort himself out. Gavin Walsh says he read the lyrics a few minutes ago of that song. I'm presuming it's North London Forever. Really big gang of tryhards. It's beyond cringy. I don't know
I definitely think there's a breakdown of that to come in one of the morning shows.
Oh, yes, that may be. There may be.
Yeah.
There may be. Let me see now. Oh,
you were watching the game tonight, were you? Were you watching the game tonight? The Leeds and Hull.
No, I wasn't.
I was watching bits of it, and I'd say the bits I watched of it, Hull have good side. Morton is having a really good season for them.
Shawnee was going on about the murder.
Yeah.
Going on about a murder. He showed me the goal. Actually, he's really good assist for Carvalho. Did it finish 1-1? Did it?
No, Leeds had a penalty late on. It was 2-1 when I left it with a few minutes plus injury time to go.
Okay.
But yeah, it's all up in the air in the
3-1
top
Leeds won.
championship now. 3-1.
Yeah, they got one on the very last. Yeah.
Yeah, he shoved a load of strikers on the end. He's chasing it for the help. He's really going for broke with it. But it was Phil's right when it comes to the international football. It comes to this time of the year, everything starts to pick up with the club game now.
Yeah.
No more nothing now until the summer. So it's like the championship starts to get exciting, the Premier League, different situations going on in the league. Everything's up in the air now. Anything can happen between now and the end of May.
Yeah, the championship is mental as well. Right, Phil.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Come on, get the first. It's free. It's 10:15 and we haven't started a single thing. And I know for a fact there's people turning off here. And when they go to download later, they'll be like, "What? This is shite." They just turn off.
That was scary. It's like the alphabet of the wolves, and the next minute the power went to the house.
That's it.
So there must be a.
See, that's what happens when you say you don't karma. That's where karma comes in.
Eamon Ryan's watching you. I'm telling you.
Yeah. He's a prick. Is he in the chat? Who is he now?
Could be high. He wouldn't use technology, surely. He's against all that sort of shit.
Absolutely. Right, let's get on with the show. Kev, I want to start with your topic, and I'm going to be fairly agnostic on this one because I've no idea. You want to talk about Haaland, Keane's comments on Haaland? Is that right? After the game, there was a game.
Well,
Manchester City.
The thing is, you know what it's like with Sky at the end of games. They like to throw out something to gain interest on social media, little clickbait headlines. But this one, he's not far from the truth. And we've touched on it before when it comes to Erling Haaland. His goal scoring is hiding the fact that he's a bang average footballer. Roy Keane turned around and said his all-around play is that of a League Two player. He struggled to make an impact in the game against Arsenal. I think that's harsh. But at the same time, you take his goal scoring away, and his first touch ain't very good. He doesn't bring others into play. His hold-up play is poor. And he doesn't get involved in the game unless it's in the penalty box. He has no interest in it. And it's in tight games like that yesterday when you see the difference of having a striker you can trust on the ball. It was almost 10v11 in large parts of that game yesterday because they couldn't find him. He was unwilling to come short. And when he did, the ball was like bouncing off him. He averages something like 11 touches in a game, and it's not good enough, for someone who's touted as, and he is a world-class goal scorer. But outside of that, he doesn't offer anything else really. And yesterday, Arsenal, Saliba and Gabriel done an unmerciful job on him, and they bullied him. He's 6'5", he's a man mountain. And they absolutely bullied him. They got in his head, and he couldn't handle it. And the thing is, he gets away with it in the press all the time. Núñez gets slaughtered for the amount of chances that he misses, but Haaland skirts it because he's still top scorer in the league. So the question really is that enough? Is it enough these days that you're a big lump of a centre forward, you're there to score goals and nothing else? Or do you have to bring more to the table than that at the elite level to go and be successful year in, year out? Because last year he was brand new to the league and sides were struggling to figure him out and figure out how to play against him. This season, it feels like most sides have come up with plans. They've come up with ways to deal with him and make life as difficult as possible for him. And yeah, he's top scorer in the league, but he hasn't ran away with it. People are expecting him to hit 40, 50 goals again this season. He's just not going to. I think he's on 18 goals in the league for the season. Dom Solanke's on 16. You know, Ollie Watkins up there as well. So he isn't doing anything outrageous this season. He's just doing what someone that commands his wages and his transfer fee is doing. But for me, I think Goldbridge made a point, and he got ridiculed for it last week, that Liverpool wouldn't go for an Erling Haaland because he wouldn't suit the way the Jurgen Klopp plays. And he's right. You know, he doesn't do enough with the rest of his game for the way we play. And I think Man City have probably had to adapt too much to fit him in. It worked last season because he was just on a roll. But this season, I think they're struggling. And the other side of it is you're looking at the older players, the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, who were able to bail them out. They're not getting as many goals as they need to from everyone else. If Haaland dries up, the goals aren't coming from anyone else. So Keane was right in what he was saying, but it's one of the few times that their headline, their little clickbait thing, actually is right for me. You know, I don't know what you guys think of it.
Gav.
I don't think Keane is right, to be fair. I think his comments were somewhere along the line of without his goals, he's a League Two player.
No.
Something along them lines, wasn't it? Something along League Two.
I'll get the actual. Comparing his all-around play to that of a League Two player after he struggled to make an impact against Arsenal. Haaland was quiet throughout as Man City failed to score in the Premier League for the first time in 48 matches, held to 0-0. The Norwegian was well marshalled by Arsenal's commanding centre-backs, and with the latter Gabriel being named man of the match. He barely touched the ball in the first half, appearing strangely reluctant when the ball dropped to him in the penalty area in the second half, missing it cleanly with his left foot, and David Raya coming and made the save. He didn't offer anything to the game.
Right, so this is where my thing is with Haaland, right? And I was actually... Something come up during the week where I had Haaland in my head. I don't know what it was about. It might have been the top goal scorer thing, actually. And I was thinking to myself, 18 I think he's on, is that right? 18 goals?
Yeah.
And when I was thinking 18 goals, I was thinking to myself, Jesus, like, what's going on? Like, 18 is a big drop off last season. You know what I mean? Like, he's ridiculous amount of goals last season. And I actually think, and I was thinking this, and then I heard somebody say it on another podcast, and I think it might have been the Anfield rap, and I don't know who said it, but I agreed. When he said it, I went, yes, 1,000,000%. I think he needs to get away from Pep Guardiola. And I've thought this for a little while now. Because, remember, right, when Haaland and Mbappe were both up for, where did he going to go? Who are they going to go? Who would you have? And people were like, I'd have Mbappe and stuff. And in my head, I was thinking, looking at Haaland, his link-up play wasn't bad at Dortmund at all. His link-up play was quite good. He ran channels. He bullied fullbacks. He bullied centre-halves. He got in behind. He scored headers, left foot, right foot. They were powerful finishes. Some of them were cheeky, kind of intricate finishes. And he kind of, to me, looked like the all-round brilliant centre-forward. A little bit maybe worked on his link-up play, maybe vision, maybe. But, how many actual number 9s out there that are absolute bona fide goal scorers have that vision or way to pass? There's not many of them. There isn't, right? And when I look at it now, and looking at that game yesterday, to go back, when he comes in the fourth season, people were like, the amount of chances City create by getting in behind teams, putting across the box, and they just don't have a fella there to put them in. The amount of chances they've missed, it's cost them in the Champions League, it's cost them maybe in the league once or twice. Haaland is absolutely made for this, right? And that was the truth. And last season, you seen City getting in behind, right? And hurting teams, and Haaland was there just burying fucking chances all over the place, right? Because he's an out-and-out goal scorer. He lives off people's mistakes. All strikers do. He lives off half chances. A lot of strikers do. But when I watched that game yesterday, I actually felt a bit sorry for him, right? Because if you're not going to get in behind Arsenal, right, which Arsenal were absolutely intent on them not doing, right? If you're not going to get in behind them, they had loads of the ball in wide positions where they could Foden, Grealish. There was loads of them where they could have got it out of their feet, De Bruyne, and put it in the box. Put it in there and let him attack it as a centre forward. And they didn't. And I actually think that they've actually gone from him being the perfect person to come in and finish off these chances to, and I'm not, look, they could still go on and win a league, European Cup, but they actually look like they're developing into a team now where earlier on in the season you're kind of going, look, he's not interested in link-up play, he's just there to score goals, and that's what he's there to do. But they're not actually servicing him to score goals now. They're playing intricate stuff around the box. You see when Grealish come on. Grealish comes on the left-hand side. He drops his shoulder 3-4 times, passes it back to the fullback. He gives it to Rodri. Rodri gives it to someone. It gets back to Grealish again. And not once did Grealish go, you know what, I'm going to go outside or inside this fella. I'm just going to whip one across the box for this fella to attack. And they've actually gone away from what they were doing to service him. He's not getting the service, Kev. And when he was scoring 50 goals last season or whatever he scored, he wasn't getting many touches in games. He wasn't, because he wasn't there to get many touches in games. But this season, what you're seeing is that, yes, teams have plans, but City are refusing to go away from their plan to get him service. Where it used to be, get it into the box, into his feet and let him do something, get it across the box. They weren't really crossing, they were just playing through teams. Now, they just seem to be, we're just going to keep playing this intricate football, but we're not going to get to the stage where we're actually passing it to Erling Haaland. And I think it's all down to the manager and the system. He should have put Doku on that pitch yesterday. And he should have said to Doku, go outside and just keep putting it in the box. Haaland will get 1 or 2 chances. No matter how good Gabriel and Saliba are, they will get chances. But they're not going near him to service him. They simply aren't. Now, Roy Keane telling you he's a League 2 or the standard of a League 2 player is appalling from Roy Keane.
It's not, because what he said was...
Well, it is, Kev, because he's mentioned the fact...
You take the goal scoring away from him, and what else
you think he's a League 2 player? No. What's happening is they've taken... They've taken the lead.
You described what a League 2 striker, big man, does. Right. He runs the channels. He gets headers, left foot, right.
No, but right. So how many times have you seen?
What does he do?
How many times have you seen Erling Haaland being put through down the channel by City to run at somebody? I'm not talking about chase down the channel and hold it up. I'm talking about putting it in behind from. They don't do it anymore, Kev.
They don't do it, no. But Norway do, and Norway didn't qualify for the Euros.
Yeah, but that's not all on Erling Haaland.
Players that
Kev, it's not.
Norway have the top quality players. Are you telling me that Norway couldn't?
So how many chances did he make from? How many chances did he miss?
Bucket loads.
Kev, come on.
You've Odegaard in behind him,
yeah,
and you've Haaland up front playing international football. There is no way that they should be struggling, and it goes back to the thing: if he doesn't provide you goals, you're playing 10v11.
No.
Against sides who will park the ball.
Kev, how many chances did he make for him yesterday?
He had one glorious chance that he absolutely hooked
the header,
his
was
foot and missed the ball. No, the one
he had a header, I think, in the first half, late in the first half.
And the one on his strong foot where he just completely missed the ball from his body.
So he completely missed the ball. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, over 90 minutes yesterday, 90 plus minutes, and I think 76% of possession. I think, right? I might be a bit of 1% or 2 off there. We're talking about is a possible header for Erling Haaland and one chance where he missed. That's it. In 90 minutes of nigh-on domination. What I'm saying to you, Kev, is I'm not saying he's perfect. There's very few players in the world that are perfect. But they've gone from walking to Erling Haaland and making sure they get the ball to Erling Haaland to now going, he's in there, and if we make a chance, he might score. They've taken away. They've basically said to him, as this 2 years has progressed at City, they basically said to him, they've gone from, you have no interest in the build-up, but we're just going to give you chance after chance, to, you have no interest in the build-up, but we're not going to create you any chances. It's gone to this intricate triangles around the edge of the box like Arsenal used to do in the late 2000s, where it just looks pretty, and you might get through once or twice, but they're not servicing them. They're not servicing the fella.
Isn't that how City played for years?
Yes, but the thing was, Kev...
Up until last season.
But the thing was, Kev, they always played around you and got in behind you and put it across. And we always said, yeah, if they had a finisher there, Jesus was all right at times, but they don't have a finisher up front. And Haaland was it. And he was banging in goals. No matter where they put it across, what height it was, he was scoring. But now, and I'm just going, even on yesterday's game, they played an awful lot of pretty stuff in front of Arsenal. And if you're going to play in front of them, then put it in the box at some stage. You can't ask Erling Haaland not to have the ball.
They had 12 shots in total.
12.
Yeah, Man City had 12 shots in total yesterday. One on 1 shot on target, 73% possession, 700 passes. They Arsenal did what Arsenal don't do. They put 2 banks of 4 and 2 forwards in front of Rodri and just defended for their lives.
Yeah,
And
I
went there for the
understand
draw
that,
and
Kev.
got the draw.
I understand that, Kev, but right, so say they put everyone behind the ball. What do you want Erling Haaland to do?
He has to be able to bring others into play. If he's not getting the chances,
But
he's got to
Kev,
be
he's
able
being
to
told
move
to
and
stay
create
between
space for others.
But Kev, he's being told. He's clearly being told to stay within the frame of the
yeah.
goalpost.
That's the catch-22 then, because
No,
if
that's what he's being
if they're not
told,
putting
Kev.
the crosses in, then it's a contradiction, isn't it? Because there's no point in telling him to do that if you're not going to put the service in.
Correct.
That just makes no sense.
But when this Erling Haaland, era started at Man City, okay, he was told to stay within the frame of the goal, and they were making bucket loads of chance for him because they weren't afraid to whip one in the box or get in behind teams. Now they're playing in front of teams and not putting her in the box and continuously saying to him, "You stay within the goalposts." So what's he meant to do? You know what I mean? Like, people are saying there his overall game is shocking. Emmett says it there, his overall game is shocking. But the thing is, nobody said his overall game was shocking before when he was leaving Dortmund. Nobody. They said he could run at people, he could scare people with his pace, he could get in between fullbacks and centre halves down the line and cause you all sorts of trouble. But now you're just seeing, I think Pep Guardiola has turned him into a robot that stands in the middle of the box between the goalposts, and if it comes near you, try score. Other than that, don't do it. It's worked. It's worked for 18 months, and now it's just at the moment not working because they're not giving him the service.
Yeah, we're saying all of this. He's not shit. He's still top scorer in the league, and I think he's on about 26, 27 for the season as a whole. But
I just think
Right.
I think
It's half 10.
Sorry,
it's half 10. I couldn't give a shit about anybody that doesn't play for Liverpool. Honestly, I've listened to this waffle for long enough now. Let's end
But it's not waffle. It's not waffle.
No,
it's not Phil. It's not Phil because you're just doing this. Well, we're talking about the weekend's football, and you're just doing this thing where look, I don't give a bollocks. But
I don't though.
I know you don't.
The fella's having the same season.
Don't discuss it. He's not having the same season.
The same season as Salah had after his first year at Liverpool when he scored 100 million goals. And then Salah comes along the following year and doesn't score 100 million goals. And everyone goes, was he a one-season wonder? When it turns out that he actually scored loads of goals next year.
It's not
and
that.
He's going to score loads of goals this year.
The thing about it is that
Roy Keane
he's playing exactly the
Gary
same
Neville
way.
said something.
Yeah, but don't mind them at Sky because listen, they had to build up.
And then
they had to hold on a minute, Phil. Hold on a minute.
And they were great.
They had to build up. They had to build up a game that was appalling yesterday, in my opinion. Right, the quality wasn't great. Nothing really happened. Right. They had to build it up. So they come out and say something like that. It's all scripted from them all the fucking time. But if you actually look into the Erling Haaland thing, he's continuously being asked to play a certain way and see you've gone away from what was servicing. That's all it is. So to have a go off Erling Haaland, I think is mad. I think you should be looking at Pep Guardiola. That's all I'm saying.
Well, at the end of the day,
well,
he's got about... What's he got? Is he the top scorer in the league?
He's 18 goals, I think.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh no, but I think he has 18 goals. But I
league.
think as the season's gone on, I think City have gone away from what was servicing Erling Haaland to score goals, and it has to be down to the manager the way they're playing in an offensive way, where they seem to be staying away from him. That's all I'm saying.
It's specifically a thing with Arsenal. It's specifically the thing with Arsenal because the 3 games they've played against Arsenal this season. I know you hate XG. But over the 3 games, his XG is 0.24 over the 3 games. He's not getting a sniff in games that are where he's been man-marshalled by proper centre-backs. And he's struggling to get away from him and find space. And the more other sides start to watch this, Brentford did it last year really well. They marshalled him out of the game. And I think it was Ben Mee man-marked him, and the other 2 were in and around him all the time. And he couldn't get a sniff in the game. And one of the few times last season that happened. But the more the sides come up against him now and bully him and man-mark him, and if he's not going to move, then he is an easier target for 2 decent centre-backs to mark.
Well, he's being clearly told he's to move in a certain area of the pitch, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It doesn't make any sense.
Do you know what I mean? He doesn't. He's told not to go outside the centre of the pitch. That's it. And City have changed the way they've played as the season's gone on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To one where you can go on about Gabriel and Saliba all you want. How much did he actually have to do against Erling Haaland yesterday? Because City focus fuck all on Erling Haaland. It's all about down the sides, and not even down the sides and playing behind people. It's down the sides and just coming back out and playing again. It was all in front of them. And if you don't give the ball to the fella, he's just not going to. He's not going to score. He's not going to get chances. But they've gone away from the successful way they were doing it, in my opinion. And I hope they continue to do that, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't see, like, again, just think it's nonsense that Kane.
I you know my feelings on Sky. I think everything is scripted at Sky. And they would have been told, listen, go and say that when we come back with you, because that game was shy.
Honestly, now, we don't play them again. Haaland can eat a wasp for all I care. No, genuinely, because it's what, like, the only thing that matters now is what we do from here to the end of the season. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. Win 9 games, you win the league. Nobody can catch.
Correct.
It's that simple. And to the point where, you know, people say, well, maybe you have to look at analyse how other teams. You don't. The only thing that matters from this point out is what Liverpool do until the end of the season. What Liverpool do until the end of the season. As nothing can stop us winning the league if we win every game between now and the end of the season. And I think that's where, if you can put yourself in that position, that's all you can care about. And the rest of it, Haaland can score 100 goals between now and the end of the season. It won't make a blind bit of difference. He can score no goals. They can all kill each other. It doesn't make a blind bit of difference in terms of what's going on. And Keane can say this, and Gary Neville can say that. And it's like the lesson there is, don't be listening to any punditry or stuff on Sky before, after, between, because it's all just
turn on Sky.
Yeah, just don't turn on Sky. You're better off in terms of what's there. Now, Gav, talk about media frenzies, fan frenzies, concerns, nervousnesses, especially in the wake of Bayern Munich supposedly announcing that Roberto De Zerbi is the chosen one for the Bayern Munich job.
Have they said that?
Yeah, this evening.
That's a Liverpool Phil's joke.
It's telling you.
Okay.
One of the Wolves told me, he whispered it in the ear and he said, "Here, have a look at the Twitter there now. It must be going on."
Okay.
Right? But his name is being linked, and to be fair, right? You wanted to bring up the frenzy, the nervousness, and the concern the fans have now that there's been a massive load of articles saying that Alonso's not going anywhere, he's staying at Bayer Leverkusen. Take me away, because I'm interested in this one.
So, look, I think it's starting to annoy me, to be honest with you. That all this stuff around the manager and stuff. And I appreciate Liverpool, as of the 4th of June, won't have a manager, okay? Because Jurgen Klopp will leave the club. I absolutely appreciate that. But it's actually starting to annoy me how much we're allowing this to take over our kind of, you know, football and lives, or football and fucking intake of football, whatever it might be. It's starting to annoy me. We have a manager. You know, we've possibly 14 games to go in this season, where we could end up with a League Cup, a Europa League, and a league title. And it's just like every spare minute we have, we're talking about who's coming in, what are they going to do, who will they sell, who will they buy, will this fella fit in, your man plays a 3-4-3, who will play in this system. And I'm kind of at this stage where I'm going, would you ever fuck off and stop annoying me, right? Because this is the way it is, right? And do you know what triggered me? I'll tell you what triggered me. Paul Joyce came out last, I want to say Tuesday night. Okay, I think it was Tuesday night, and he said it looks like Xavi Alonso won't be on the shortlist for Liverpool manager's job, as it looks like he intends to stay at Bayer Leverkusen next season. All right, and they were all, for weeks fucking beforehand, it was all about Xavi Alonso. What will he bring? What will he do? Who will he buy? Who will he fucking sell? All this shit. Does he get on with Richard Hughes? It's the same tea lady at fucking the Axis that was there when he was there. All this horseshit, right? The following morning, right, it was known that Xavi Alonso was going to do a press conference for Bayer Leverkusen. I think it might have been on the Wednesday morning. I could have the days mixed up a little bit, but it was somewhere around middle of last week, right? And it came out that he was going to do a press conference, and at that press conference, it was going to be confirmed that he was going to stay at Bayer Leverkusen next season. That's fair enough. And what triggered me then was the amount of fucking people online that were writing these big exclusive hot takes on your man Amorim from Sporting Lisbon, right? how he caught Liverpool's eye, how he plays, who he values, what he'll bring, what he'll do, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, we just ever fucking stop. Yesterday is were telling us all about Alonso, and today is have these deep dives into Amorim, just ready, yeah? And we're meant to all believe it. But Phil, look, I'm not concerned. I'm not saying I'm not concerned over who will be the next Liverpool manager, but it shouldn't be a concern right now. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't be a concern right now. If Klopp was under contract for the next 3 years and we're after losing the last 9 games, I'd be going, fuck, this fella might be on the brink of going, who are we going to bring in? But this is being mapped out for us. It's been mapped out from the club since last November, which gives them 7 months to sort themselves out, right? It's been mapped out in the public eye since the start of January, which gives people 6 months to realise what's going on, right? Richard Hughes, the other fella, fucking Michael Edwards, has come in there at the start of March, which tells you that they're well on the way to putting this structure together for next season. But right now, like, why are we constantly going on about who the next manager of Liverpool will be when we have who I believe is the best manager on the pitch we've had since Paisley? He's 14 games away from doing a treble of sorts, right? And he's literally going to be, he's adored, he should get the best send-off, and nothing should detract from that. There should be no discussion around the managers, right? Because all you're doing is discussing weeks old news, right? Oh, Michael Edwards is back. Michael Edwards is back fucking 2 or 3 weeks, boys. And we're getting told today. Do you know what I mean? And I just think I actually think it's bad on Klopp. And I don't think it's helping anybody that we're going around for the whole of the international break discussing. Like, I've seen fellas doing a breakdown of the formation. Who will play, who won't, who'll fit, who will he bring in? And I'm kind of going, what are you talking about? Can we not talk about the next 10 games? Who's going to win? And do you know what? I think it's a bit, I think it's a bit disrespectful to Klopp, to be perfectly honest with you. But that's the world we live in now. Where's the next new shiny thing? And the next new shiny thing looks like it's going to be a manager. And you know what? People are just fucking, ignore what Klopp is trying to achieve here and just discuss this shit. And I'm just annoyed. I've no problem with when the last game of the season comes and Klopp does his bus tour and his parade and he leaves the club and he says his goodbyes and we sit down and go, right, who's the manager going to be? But that's not how it works. We have to go on now for 5 fucking months about who the next manager is going to be, and everyone knows who it's going to be, and everyone knows everyone about everything, and it's just. And Red Steve says content, Gav, content. It's not even content, Steve. It's all fucking waffle. And you know what? There's people out there that are non-Liverpool that will push this because it is clicks. I get that, but as a Liverpool fan, in my opinion, I don't give 2 fucks who the next Liverpool manager is going to be, and I won't give a bollocks until the 1st of June when we don't have a manager, and that's where I am on it.
Kev, where's your mind? Because I think there's a fair cost to this one. So,
a newspaper never refused ink, and during an international break, Phil, there's an awful lot of people. What you said when it came to international football, they don't give a shit. And Liverpool stories always generate revenue. They generate ad revenue like the New Time, and nothing more so than news on a change, news on a manager change. That's all that's driving it. I've had a look at Amorim. What little bit I could find about him. Yeah, he looks a promising young manager. But I think there's a bigger story there. There isn't a massive load of young talent reaching out saying, I am the next big thing. I am a shoe-in for this job. The way this new whoever takes over at Liverpool from next season on, it could be anybody. We haven't a fucking Scooby. And are they going to go down the manager route? Are they going to go down the head coach route? Who knows? But at the end of the day, we'll find out in good time. There's people with the club who, after the summer that we just had, deserve a hell of a lot of trust in getting decisions right. They haven't learned nothing in the last 7 years of watching Jurgen Klopp at the club, running the club and seeing how the club should be run. And we'll find out when the time is right, when we need to be told. And then we'll deal with it from then on. There's no point in people. I see people losing their shit over the fact that Alonso is staying at Leverkusen. Big whoop. At the end of the day, if I'm Xabi Alonso, I'm doing exactly that. He's in a good job, a safe job where he's secure. He's got a good group of young players. He's about to do something in the Bundesliga that's not been done. He could go unbeaten. And he wants to chat a chance in the Champions League with Bayer Leverkusen. He knows that he's young and his time will come at a top club. He's doing the right thing, to be honest. Because whoever comes into Liverpool next, it's a monumental job. You're not just filling the boots of a manager who's got the sack or who's had a really bad run. You potentially could be replacing a guy who's just won a treble and has laid the groundwork for you for the next 5 years. Go and take the reins and don't fuck it up. That's your job description. So I don't know how it's going to go. I have no idea. But that's how I think the last 2 weeks have been, is literally clickbait and content that spills onto more content. Everyone is literally going after Paul Joyce's story. No one is being original on their own. They're all putting their own spin on it, but generally it's all off one journalist's work. And people are making out as if they're some guru. They're not. Nobody is.
I'm sort of in the opposite side of this, Gav. Like, as stories go, this is, at the moment, one of the 5 biggest jobs in world football, right? You've got the most richest league in the world. You've got teams who've been dominating the Champions League for the last 10 years, in reality to what's going on. You've got what's perceived as the best coach in the world as your main challenger when you come into this role. As column inches go, even from a national media and international media, people are interested to see where Liverpool goes, because they're going to lose essentially the figurehead of the club, and they'll be hoping to maintain the level of success that he brought, that hadn't been there for the best part of 25 years. When he came in, we had that small spell with Rafa, we had 1 or 2 seasons with Houllier, we had 1 season with Evans, we had 1 season with Rodgers. We never had a sustained period of being a top-level team as we had experienced.
He's the best manager at Liverpool since Paisley.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I think that's where the real interest comes. I actually think the most fascinating and interesting piece that I've read on this is in The Athletic. It was where they did a deep dive on potential candidates for the job and cross-fit them with the style of football that Klopp plays, given it was Edwards who appointed Klopp in the first instance and was the one who brought him in. Obviously, Edwards trusts Richard Hughes to utilise the same, I won't say methods, but definitely the same approach to how he was going to run the club. That's why he wants him in there, in terms of being a statistically based and driven type of club that's there. And it'll be interesting because, the names that crop up at the moment were the names that were cropping up before they appointed the guys that were coming in to take over. Right, the obvious standout candidate because of what he was doing and his links to the club was Xabi Alonso. It didn't take much to do it, and I'm sure if you asked him, would we be interested in somebody who's obviously taken to coaching and managing like a duck to water, they're going to say yes. And the whole reason that this story exists is because they believe, or the leak that came out was they believe that Alonso's not interested in leaving Leverkusen next year. Alisson didn't want to leave Roma. Do you know what I mean? We've seen this happen with the players that we've signed, where the lads didn't want to leave the club and next minute they're wearing a Liverpool jersey the following year. So you have to write it. They have to put it out there. It's what their job is about. And Amorim, like all these names, people are going to be happy with some, unhappy with others. And it's really the noise around it that it becomes the bane, if you want to use a different word for what this is for the normal fans. Like, look, I'm interested in all the names that have been put there. Just to say, nah, I like that, I don't like this. And I always think that the great sort of foreign unknown one is always going to look more attractive than, say, I don't know, throw a name, Graham Potter, right? He's not doing anything at the moment. Had an incredibly brilliant run with Brighton when he was there. Didn't get backed, didn't get the time at Chelsea that he deserved for what he did with Brighton. But say Hughes and Edwards look at what he did and what he was achieving and what he was close to turning around at Chelsea had they bought the players that were going to fit the system, and said, you know what, this fella is the right one. They're going to appoint him, and it's not going to be as a fan favourite, whatever it is. They're going to appoint him because they believe that that's the methodologies and the success is transferable to what they want to do at Liverpool. And that's just the way it is. And yeah, I'm on the other side. I'm interested to see what names come up and who's potentially involved. But we know that we don't know. We don't know with Hughes how much gets leaked out and how much doesn't, because there some sporting directors don't mind dropping stuff out there to either put a different sense of smoke in the water, or different, to send journalists off. And some are just quite honest and are happy to say, no, that's what we're going for, and that's what it looks like. It's going to be interesting because we don't know. I was on here about 6 weeks ago, and I said I was getting worried because either we were going to have a full setup put in place and it's going to be fairly quick, or else it's a disaster. And I think, thankfully, the club has shown yet again it's well organised and it's managed to achieve what it wants to do. It's put Edwards in place. Edwards has put Richard Hughes in place. So why would we doubt that they aren't going to be able to put who they want?
No, I don't doubt that they're going to put in who they want, and they won't do it off the back of me or you or anybody else on the internet saying who it should be. I'd say I actually think that the fact that Alonso came out last week, and said, I'm staying at Bayer Leverkusen. I reckon Liverpool kind of know that a couple of weeks now, right? So they're on to whoever they're going to bring in. I've no problem. Like, I want Liverpool to do due diligence and do things right and be able to appoint a manager. Like, I just find that why am I approaching this the wrong way or something? Like, why am I think the odd time about who the next Liverpool manager will be, but my immediate thought after that is actually that'll come. Like, we have way bigger things to be worrying about here than who the manager will be, and it just seems to be every day, whether it's journalists, whether it's bloggers, whether it's YouTube channels, podcasts, whatever it might be. It seems to be let's get infatuated on who the next Liverpool manager will be. Who will they sign? Who will they sell? What formation will they play? Will he get on with this fella? Will he get on with that fella? Does he know Michael Edwards? Does he know Richard Hughes? Have they ever? And it's like, honestly, I can't. And maybe it's just me because I can't wrap my head around the fact that people aren't going. Why aren't people just completely obsessed with the manager we have, the position they're in, the games we have left, and what we can achieve? Because no matter all your attention right now on, is it Amarim, right? Genuinely, Liverpool mightn't be looking at him. Genuinely, they might have went to Sporting and went, no, you know what, not for us. And we might find that out in another 3 weeks' time. It's like we're wasting our energy, right? And giving our senses to this when it doesn't need to be. Like Cahill says there, right? He says a couple of things. He says, journalists do their research. They're not throwing Amarim's name out for the crack. Cahill, they've been throwing Xabi Alonso's name out for fucking weeks upon weeks upon weeks, giving you a deep dive into who he is, what he is, where he's from, how long, every fucking thing about him, why he'll be at Liverpool, on top of, journalists in Germany telling you Alonso's preferred destination is Bayern. So research, I'll have to kind of agree to disagree with you. Yeah, Cahill also says fans need to know who is our boss next season, and rightly so. Correct, but not right now. Like, what difference is it going to make to our lives if we announced Ruben Amorim now? What's it going to do? Nothing. He can't do anything for us.
All that happens then is it moves on to the next phase. It moves on to the next phase of
who's he going to sign, who's he going to sell.
Trent's contract.
It's going to do all this.
Yeah.
And
that's where the conversation falls in.
And Carl says it has to have a similar style to what we have already. I think it might be. I think it might be a little bit upset when it comes to who we do get. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest with you, Ruben Amorim, apart from what I've heard, doesn't play anywhere near the same system as Jurgen Klopp plays. Not even fucking close. So if he's meant to be the man, what's going to happen if he's announced and we go, we're playing three at the back? Do you know what I mean? We're doing this thing now where we're failing, not failing, but we're taking some of the concentration off what Liverpool right now and what they have can do between now and the end of the season with a fantastic manager, and spending all our time obsessing over what the new thing is going to be in June. And maybe wrong is not the correct word to use, but I just find I'm bewildered by it all. I really, really am. I get the interest, but honestly, if you're thinking about who the next Liverpool manager is, I think your next thought should be, that'll be dealt with, because we've bigger fish to fry than fucking who the next manager is.
It's gonna happen. I honestly, Gav, I think it's a bit naive to think that way, because it's just such a big story, and I think, like, let's be honest about it. It is
not
the
right
biggest
now.
story.
It's not.
But it is. It's all linked. You can't separate the fact that this is Klopp's last season. Right?
Yeah.
You can't separate, and it's going to take me into
And we're
my
going to
topic,
spend
yeah?
half of it wondering about who his successor is.
No, but listen to me. It's going to take me into my topic because I think it's linked, right? You can't take yourself away because you're looking at this incredible season that's happening in front of your eyes where something could happen, right? The sense of remorse and the sense of grieving at losing Klopp, who is almost like a father figure in terms of your football club that's there at the moment, right, is going the other side.
Yeah.
So it's natural that the third part of this is what's next? Because I don't want to lose this feeling next year. I don't want to lose this belief that we are again a destination club. I go back to the old thing. We're not
But
just
it's like people are
stepping stone.
wishing this time away. They want to get to the next.
I don't think they are. I don't think
it
they
feels
are.
like
but
that to me. It feels like they're wishing this time away, where they go get the new fella in and let's see what he does and let's ask all these questions again. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I just, from my point of view, I feel like we're a lot of what's going on is being concentrated on something that's going to happen in 2 months' time.
I don't. I think again. I just think it's a natural part of this whole experience. Like, let's be honest. And this is my topic, right? I said to you because I brought it into this. What was our expectations at the start of the season? And we did this sort of a third of the way through. Was what's the expectations for this season? And I'll be straight. My expectations for this season was get us back into the Champions League by hook or by crook, and have a great run in the Europa, and hopefully make the final. This is before Klopp announces that this is his last season. Right? Have a great run, get into the thing, tick off that trophy is because it's the only one he hasn't won, and then he's won absolutely everything, and set ourselves up for a title till next season or the season after, because we didn't think he was going to leave. Halfway through, come Christmas, we sort of touched on this topic again, and it was where was it? And I was like, well, look, I'm not going to be hypocritical here. Once we nailed Champions League, and such a long way to go at that stage as well, and we have African nations, and Salah was going off, and we a load of injuries starting to. And I said, if we get once we land Champions League, which it look like we have, and see where we are come March, I'd be delighted if we're within 6 points of City in March, and that we're sort of still hanging on the coattails of a potential title challenge. So what's my expectations now for this season? I'm not gonna be hypocritical here. If once we've landed Champions League, great, that's a box ticked. I want to see us get to the final of the Europa League in Dublin. I want to see him win the Europa League. But I think the players, and this comes back to my old days of playing, when something presents itself to you and you have an opportunity to go and do it, you know that there's so many times in life that if you don't take the opportunity, it's not going to present itself to you again. Right? And I think for me, the one thing I said more than anything before Klopp left the club and as part of this rebuild was I wanted him to win 2 league titles. The fact that he's announced that he's off and it's over at the end of the season, this is it. This for him is, and this to me in terms of what I wanted him to achieve as the manager of Liverpool Football Club, this is it. And if he doesn't achieve it, and I know people are going to go mad in the comments for when I say this, for all our brilliance, for all our dominance, for all the amazing times he brings to us, right? There will still be this nagging doubt in the back of your mind at the end of it all in 5 years, 10 years. Isn't it such a pity that we only won 1 league title with that manager and those squads that he put together in terms of what's there? But he has the chance. So my expectations have been met, have they been surpassed. My expectations at the end of the season, and this is where I am, is I've no fear. I can sit back and enjoy it because what we're getting here is bonus territory. It's absolute bonus territory. So I'm going to enjoy the run-in. And I think I'd love if there was a sports psychologist in the dressing room with the players re-emphasising this. Lads, you have achieved what you set out to do. You've got yourselves back in the Champions League. You have an opportunity. Don't let this opportunity slip. You've never let opportunities. You've never left trophies on the table. You've never left chances to do it, with the exception maybe Real Madrid in those 2 Champions League finals. You've never left the opportunity pass you by. This is a time where you grasp it and you hold onto it and you do not let it go. This is like, for me, this is that end of November in 1920 when we won the league, when we instead of being beaten down with expectation because we started off so well, we actually grew into it. And let's remember, we had the league won before COVID started. We just instead of getting caught up in the pressure and the doubt and the whole lot, we put the foot on the accelerator and just went away from everyone. And that's what I'm hoping the approach is. That's what I'm hoping the mentality is. But that, to me, anyway, is where my expectations have gone. We've met them, they've surpassed them, and this is a pure bonus. So, Gav, where are you?
You know me. The start of the season, I think Liverpool can win the league every year, and that's going back 30 plus years. That's just the way I've always been. Stupidly at times, to be honest with you. Especially in the early 90s, well, 93, 94-ish. And then in times under definitely Julia and Benitez anyway. But look, the start of this season, realistically, I think you have to say, right, you have to do top four. You have to get back in there because that's where the big money is. That's where the attraction for players is. And I think the fact that when we were looking at our squad last season and you were saying we've no legs in midfield and we're not in the Champions League, who can we attract? That question kind of goes out the window when you're in the Champions League. You know, it was always one of those things, who can we attract if we're not in the Champions League? And Klopp was very famous. He said, look, if you don't want to play for us and we're not in the Champions League, even if you come available next year, we're not buying you because you're not interested. And I think he's handled that brilliantly. When you the big thing about last summer was when we brought in the players we brought in, some of them surprised us in Endo. Some of us really excited us in Sobers, Roy, McAllister. I think Gravenberch was a bit of a bonus. And I just think as the season's gone on, I think Liverpool have got stronger. I think they've handled adversity brilliantly, with injuries and some farcical fucking decisions against us, as we all know about it. And I think it's made them stronger. I think it probably set in an attitude of us against the world early on. And I think that helped them to solidify a squad that was trying to get itself together, you know, especially in that midfield area. You've seen the emergence of the likes of Bradley and Quansah and Elliott's come on leaps and bounds. And, you know, as it's gone on, it's not like a perfect storm because nothing's, bar League Cup, nothing's being won yet. But when you turn around at Christmas, I always say it. Go back many years I'm on this podcast, I always say, if you're the 1st of January and the 1st of March, they're always my two markers in a season, right? Even if you're having a bad November, where are you on the 1st of January? Where are you on the 1st of March? And then your expectations should go from there. And it's nearly like you're not going to let your own club off the hook. You know, the sort of way. So when you get to the 1st of March and you're like, I don't know, on the 1st of March we are probably level or probably top of the league or whatever. I'm not sitting there going, you know what, we've had a great season and we'll see how it goes. My expectation is to win the league now. That's it, right? The Europa League, I think he'll have a right go at it, but I think if he was, I honestly think if the games are coming thick and fast and he's a couple of injury doubts or he has fellas that may look a bit tired, I think he might make a couple of changes and take big gambles in them Europa League quarterfinals and semi-finals for the sake of the league. And that's my expectation. They've probably exceeded expectations. I think it's fair to say they've exceeded expectations on the whole. If you went around all Liverpool fans, I definitely think they've exceeded expectations. But the expectations right now has to be win the league. You're 9 games out. You're 2 points clear of Arsenal. You're 3 points clear of City. You know what I mean? Basically, win 7, draw 2, you win the league. Unless them boys go and win 9 on the bounce. At the end of it, I think it's going to come off as a really, really good season anyway. I think Klopp, the biggest achievement for Klopp this season, I don't think it'll be the trophies. I think it's the fact that he had something in his head last summer that he may have walked and he didn't, because he didn't want to leave Liverpool on a kind of downward spiral. Squad needed an overhaul. And even with the kind of weird ones that happened in Henderson and Fabinho, he's reacted, he's brought in players, he's moulded them, and he's walking away regardless of what happens. I think we're a really, really much younger squad. And on the average age, I think it's really exciting. I think it's real. I just think it's set up perfectly. You know, it's actually set up perfectly for Klopp to go and do massive things with Liverpool next season. But second to that is it's set up perfectly for somebody to come in and go, Jesus, I couldn't be handled all the tools if I tried with what we have here. Yeah, he's exceeded expectations. There's no doubt about that. But I do want to win the league now. I think if we don't win the league, I'll be very, very disappointed. I'm going to be very honest with you. And you know what? They might win it. They might not. I disagree with you slightly on the league title thing because regardless of what way anyone puts it to me, I think Klopp arrives in Liverpool, and Man City are 5 years into committing fraud in football in order to put themselves at the top of this particular table, right? Those charges are currently against them. And I think if Klopp didn't have to come up against that, I think he'd have easily 2-3 league titles to this. So what he's up against, don't get me wrong, if he was up against a Manchester United and he was beaten by Manchester United, I'd go, fine. Manchester United are a huge football club and this, that and the other. But what they're up against, in my opinion, is cheats. And someone has cheated, I think, Jurgen Klopp and others out of league titles and domestic titles, and indeed now a European title. So I think you have to look at Klopp's overall record at Liverpool, but you have to caveat it with what's going on around them. You really, really do. But come the end of the season, I would give fucking anything for Jurgen Klopp to have a Europa League and a league title at the end of the season, because even with that, he's not got anywhere near what he's deserved at Liverpool. That's my opinion. And I think, as I said, he's the best Liverpool manager since Paisley. And I think it's going to be an awful long time before you see someone match. They'll probably win more trophies at Liverpool. Amarim Cup come in at Liverpool and win more trophies. But I don't think they'll ever match what Jurgen Klopp was to Liverpool as a football club in the city. So, yeah, that's where I am.
Okay. Kev?
Yeah, look, I mean, when the transfer window closed in the summer, I looked at the squad and I thought, I think when we did our predictions, Emmett's got them all recorded. I'm pretty sure I said second. But reason being, I thought Man City, with what they had to put into last season and what they've done in the summer, I thought that's going to hurt them. Their squad isn't deep enough. I've been saying it all season. Their squad isn't deep enough to go in 4 competitions. Arsenal, were an unknown quantity. Didn't have a clue what Chelsea were going to do, but I didn't think it would work out. And I thought, with the way our squad was and the age of the squad, we watched the pre-season, there was some good young talent that were going to be blooded through the Europa League. And I thought, Klopp is very good at rotating squads. He'll be able to keep sides fresh for the Premier League and attack both competitions. If anything happened in the Europa League, great. If it didn't matter. But the league, he would be able to focus on, as long as the midfield gelled and worked. And it did. And we were seeing it in the post-match shows that we were doing, like every game. And every game, you come up against adversity. You very rarely had smooth, easy fixtures. And they were finding ways to win and picking up points and just getting on a run. And we became very hard to beat. And the longer the season has gone on, through the adversities, through the injury crisis, blooded young players, trusted the talent that we had at the club. And he's done it brilliantly. We've got players coming back now for running that are going to be needed to help keep the squad fresh. And it's in our hands. We've 9 games to go. They're 9 winnable games. And there's no reason not to believe that this side isn't capable of putting a run together of 9 wins. It's not like it's beyond the realms of possibility that we've seen this before. There's nothing to fear in any of the sides that we're going to be coming up against. Spurs, Villa, yeah, they're good sides with threats, but so are we. We're a really good side. And I think last season, what the squad that is still at the club now, what they went through last season, is going to be the carrot to everyone else not to let this slip. They know, some of them know what it's like to win a title. Most of them don't. Most of this current squad don't know what it's like to win a title at Liverpool. But the ones that do, it's still fresh in their memory. And they went through the shit last year. So they'll want to make sure that they don't let it slip. And it's up to them. No, once they cross the line on a Saturday, Klopp can't do nothing. He's done his work. He's got them prepared. They cannot turn into entitled FC. That Sheffield United are just going to roll over because Liverpool are turning up in time. No, you can't do that. You have to go and win these games. Every side that we're going to be playing against, I think most of them have something to play for, be it to try stay in the league, try to get into European competitions. So there's going to be something on almost all of these fixtures. It's up to us to turn up with the right attitude and just play them properly. Play the games properly and we win the league. It's as simple as that.
Can I ask you a question? 1920 was a phenomenal season, 99 points, and it should have been more than that, but we were on the piss for 7 games, right? Do you think if Klopp wins a league title this season, it's better than 1920?
Yeah,
Because I think it is.
because I was looking at a graph yesterday, and we were 22 points clear at this stage in 1920. That's
With 82
ridiculous.
points at this stage.
Ridiculous. And we were in cruise control. We won that title by Boxing Day. After the Leicester game, that title was over. It was just a case of getting, what date are we going to win it? It was an inevitability. This season, it's in the air. It's very rare that you get a 3-horse race in a title race. And this could go all the way down to the last day with the 3 sides still in it. And all results are possible on the last day of the season. So I think the tension will mean that it means more this year. Plus the context of Klopp's last season, plus the context of the amount of young players that are coming through, that at the start of the season, if you'd have turned around to someone and said, right, Conor Bradley is going to be starting a run of games in March and April, and you're going to love it, you'd have been laughed out of it. Gerald Kwanzaa is going to play a third of the season at centre-back, and we're going to be top of the league. You'd have thought, what drugs are you on? You got any?
I just think
it's ridiculous what this side is doing. It's ridiculous.
Because I was thinking about it today, and I just thought to myself, like, I think in 1920 we were primed in 1920 to actually get out of the blocks and go for it. With the players we had, the squad we had, we knew everything about each other. He only adds a couple of players into that squad at the time. Whereas this one, there's been a bit of upheaval with players leaving, players being sold, players being brought in, all this sort of thing. And I just think, I think it'll be one of the best title wins you've seen if Liverpool go and win this. That's being honest. But I don't know. I just think expectations definitely exceeded, but now we've a real chance. Like Kev said, an opportunity, or maybe Phil said, an opportunity has presented itself. I think it was Phil. An opportunity has presented itself now, and I think go and take it. Go and do you know what? Go and give it everything you absolutely have. Like, there's someone there. Eamon Kelly says we're not winning 9 games. I don't think we win the 9 games either, but I don't think either of them two would win 9 games. That's being honest with you. I think as it stands, Liverpool won 7 and drew 2. That would mean Liverpool, if you counted them from today, would end up with 90 points, which would mean Arsenal would have to, I think, win 8 and draw 1, and City would definitely have to win all 9. If that's the way it lands. But I just think, I think it's been a brilliant season. I think it's actually set itself up to be a better season next season. But right now we're in the moment, and that moment is to go and win everything that's in front of you.
Your point about does it mean more? I think it might mean more to Klopp, right? In terms of the achievement in winning the league. Will it mean more to me? I don't think so. I think I'll go back to my original point, was that I wanted him to win 2 league titles. The circumstances and all are just the circumstances you face with. Like, we win our first league title in the middle.
Do you want to win it more? Yeah, but that's probably an argument to it. Do you want to win it more because this one is for Klopp? It will be a second league title, and he will also get to celebrate it like a normal league title, league title winners would. Last time we didn't. We had to make a bigger show as we could at Anfield in an empty stadium. Whereas this time, you could be celebrating against Wolves 60,000 at Anfield. Is that has to? I think that just adds the extra bit to it, and all the circumstances around, I think, adds more than the 1920 one. Although, in fairness, that was a 30-year wait, so you can weigh them up both ways.
Again, it's so opportunistic in terms of where we are compared to where we expect it to be, that I think that the players, forget Klopp for a second, right? The players will kick themselves to put themselves in this position and then to not get across the line. both Arsenal and Man City would absolutely take their right hand to put themselves in the position we are with the equivalent run-ins. And, you know, we're playing United at the on whatever day it is.
Sunday, next
And
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. And if ever there was an opportunity to right or wrong, which was that pointless cup game that they played a couple of weeks back, which wasn't even wrong. But if ever there was a time not to play a team and just to play a match, right? This is the moment that the maturity for the players needs to come out, because this is what changes you from being great season, almost being there, to champions. Because champions don't play rivals, they just play the match that's in front of them. And for so many times until recently, we stopped playing United as a rival, and we just played them as another football team in the league, and we tended to beat them once we took that approach. I thought the FA Cup game was interesting because for a large swathe of that took that approach, but then when we got towards the back end of it, we started playing it like it was a United game. We just wanted to get across the line, and that's when it all fell apart. And that's the only thing that's there for me. It's the one last. It's not though, because the way these title run-ins are, it's never the last hurdle that's going to be there. But in my mind, it's the last one. It's the last one that the other two teams are looking at going. There's a good likelihood that there's.
I'd say they're looking at their running going United away. They're definitely looking at Villa away, game against Spurs at home, and maybe Everton because it's a derby, right? But we're also looking at City going. They play Brighton. They play Spurs. I think City might have the easiest run in of us all, to be fair. And then Arsenal have some belters in there. I think Arsenal have to go to United. They have to go to Spurs.
North London derby as well,
they might have to play. I think they might have to play Villa. Chelsea are in there as well. There's quite a
few, you have to play Villa as well.
Yeah, there's quite a few big games for them. So I just think, I agree with you. I think if we win Thursday and we go and win Sunday, then you're kind of going, there's only 7 left here, and we're definitely still ahead. How many is it? The sort of way. And the only thing, this is why I go back to last night and City. I think City were desperate to win that game yesterday, not to beat Arsenal. And that's not writing off Arsenal. But I think in City's mind, they didn't want to lose any ground on Liverpool because they know what happens with Liverpool. Like, genuinely, if we go and win at home on Thursday and away on Sunday, I think our next game might be Palace at home, right? And from there on in, there'll be 7 games to go. Liverpool know they to play 3 of those away in a row in Fulham, Everton and West Ham over the space of 6 days. And I promise you, when we go to play Palace at home, if we're off the back of another 2 wins, the place will be absolutely upended from start to finish, because Liverpool fans just, it's like something injected into them, where they just know that they're brilliant at identifying that although this team are flying, they need the fans to pick them up and fuck them at the end line, at the finish line as well. And they're brilliant at that. And I think City know that. You know what I mean? I think, I'll put it to you this way. I think yesterday, if Arsenal had went and won yesterday against Brighton, and Liverpool were home or City were home to Liverpool yesterday, City, I think, would have more taken a draw there. I don't think they would have been as bothered by Arsenal winning yesterday as they are by Liverpool. You know what I mean? And there's definitely 3 at the minute, but from City's psyche, they're trying to keep hold of Liverpool because they know this just gathers pace, and at times it just becomes unstoppable. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping for it to be absolutely gathers pace where it's unstoppable, where we don't give a fuck who we're playing. We're going away. We're bringing the Talkin Kop with us. We're going to Fulham. We're going to Everton. We're going to West Ham. We're better than you. And we're going to fucking beat you. And then after that, there's only 3 or 4 games left. You know what I mean? And piling pressure on these. And listen, we could end up first. We could end up third. But I think everything is there for Liverpool. The circumstance, the romance of it, the position we're in, the games we have left, and the squad we have with the players to come back as well. I think everything is there for Liverpool that have already exceeded expectation to go and ram this home. Absolutely ram it home. And the amount of people that will upset will be off the fucking chain, and I'm there for that as much as anything else, to be fair.
That's interesting, and it'll all play out in front of us. As you said about the manager's job, it'll all play out in front of us, Gav. And you know what the great thing is? You can just sit back, relax, and enjoy it, right? Because no matter what happens, whoever comes in next season is going to be in the best situation the manager's been since Bob Paisley took the job.
Bob Paisley.
Since then, Joe Fagan taking the job. Yeah. Well, Joe Fagan, then Bob Paisley, then Kenny Dalglish. That's like no Liverpool manager has been in this position, taking it on. And even Souness had a bigger task in front of him because the age of the team that he took over was quite old, and he was going to have to revamp it. This is the whole squad and team is set up for you. Get the right appointment, and you've got a lovely. All you have to do is get them to perform, and you're going to be thereabouts the league goes. So, yep, enjoy it. It's a great time to be a fan, and once it's not Roy Hodgson, we're all right. Do you know what I mean?
Jesus, yeah.
That's the most important thing. That was the most important thing. We don't need a safe set of hands. We don't need chips or anything like that. We don't need
no waistcoat wearing former England managers, no.
No, not him.
We don't need.
Or just cocktail sausages from the menu.
We don't need broadsheet managers in a tabloid world or any of that type of stuff that's going on. We just need the fella who's best, right? The fella who's best for the job. Let him have the job. Right, Gav. That's been the show. But before we get out of here,
okay. So fundraisers in the show description, whether that's you're watching on YouTube or you're downloading it across wherever you get your podcasts. In the show description, you will find the link for our fundraiser. We're trying to raise €10,000 for fan support and food banks in Liverpool and the Lighthouse in Dublin. Two amazing organisations that really help people every day of the year, whether it's fucking sunny out or lashing rain or snow or whatever it is. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, these two organisations help people that struggle to make ends meet. So the link is there for the GoFundMe. If you can donate, please do. If not, share the link. We have a golf day. If you want to email us at talkinkop1@gmail.com, you can come along and play if you'd like. Or you can sponsor a tee box or a long drive competition or a nearest to the pin, and every penny that's in there that gets donated to those particular things goes straight to the charity. So that is brilliant as well. That's where we make our money on the golf day. So if you want to play, we basically take a fee off you to play, and that covers you for the day. If people want to sponsor the tee boxes, that's where we make our money. So that's what we're trying to do there. Phil's link is in there for his quest, his 5-race quest. He's in Glendalough this week, I think, doing one. He's already done one. He's done a personal best in that one. It's for the Laura Lynn Hospice, which is an amazing facility and service for people that you don't want to use it, but it's a hospice for sick children. So, but look, Phil's doing that all off his own bat. It's phenomenal what he's doing. The link is there. It's an I donate link, and you can throw him a few quid as well. So if you're throwing a tenner, throw a fiver to us, a fiver to Phil. If you're throwing a fiver, $2.50 each. You know how this works. What else? I want to give a shout out. Archie Doolan said this earlier, and I left her on the screen. Sean Cox meeting Jurgen Klopp over the weekend deserves a shout out. Yeah, Sean, do you know something? To see him standing up out of a wheelchair and embracing Jurgen Klopp was so nice to see, so powerful to see, and I suppose heartbreaking at the same time. This is a guy that went to a Champions League semi-final game and his life changed that night, and the work that goes on behind the scenes for Sean it is amazing. I know it's amazing, but to see him progress, and it is a slow progress, but to see him go from what he was like in 2018 to now, to see him standing up to hug Jurgen Klopp and kind of embrace him was brilliant to see. So we want to give them a shout out as well. Football prizes will have a new prize for you, a new Liverpool prize coming soon, which we will do that as well. And that's about it.
And if anyone that happens to be in the chat happens to be down at this event at the weekend, I meant to say that you'll speed me. I've got special gear and all now for it, right? That has like Quest 545 on it, right? If you come up and say hello to me, come up. I might seem unfriendly in this, but I'm actually quite friendly in real life. And people,
I wouldn't go that far.
We won't go that far too far. But yeah,
Phil's a really, really, really friendly person, right? Unless you're in a studio with him on a Monday night at about 8:45. He's the worst fucker in the world to be around. He walks in with the biggest head in him every single week. It was horrendous.
Monday nights.
Horrendous.
It's Monday night. It's just have to set it. But with this, I'm not. I come off this, and I'm just delighted to get to the end. I'm carrying a bit of a hamstring Liverpool, which I am really worried about. I'm using kinesiology tape and rolling it every night, and everything that's going on with it.
Impressive.
And as I said to Gav before we started, I was out. I did 50k on the bike because I'm starting to train for the next one, which is not an adventure race. It's a 200k cycle, in June, and so I'm starting to change the type of training and stuff that's going on. I think the body is starting to fit a bit creak because normally I'd have about 12 weeks at least between events. This is not. I'm not getting any rest at all between these things, so I'm starting to feel
Anthony Boylan wants to know if Anthony goes up to you and says, "Hi Phil, how are you? I'm Anthony." Don't care.
Okay.
He would have just said, "Don't care."
If you are there, if you know it's me because Matthew's going to be with me as well, so you'll see the two of us, right?
The main man will be there. It's in Glendalough this weekend, isn't it?
It's in Glendalough, yeah. Yeah, it's in Glendalough. The Star finishes in Lara GAA Club in Glendalough.
What day? Saturday?
So, Saturday, yeah. My wave goes off at 9 in the morning, and things
Saturday the 6th of April.
Yeah, all things going to plan. Well, it depends on the course. If last year they took the mountain summit off because it had been raining too much, so you can't destroy the land and stuff like that, but they changed the run. I did it in 2:49. I'd be hoping to, if the mountain summit's off, I'd be hoping to match that. If the mountain summit's on, it's going to be 3:10 in terms of what's there because it's slightly harder.
What's the event called?
It's called it's Ron Seal. It's Quest Glendalough. So that's the name of the event. It didn't take much to come up with an idea for me. So
now, aren't you doing? Just asking now what's it called? It's called Quest Glendalough. Saturday the 6th of April. So I'm sure if you look it up, you'll find the information on it there as well.
You will. You'll find it there. You'll find everything that's going on. But as I said, do come along. Actually, Gav, we're going to be doing something. An event with this. Won't be a golf event, but we were doing something as well. So Steve was on that. I was down with him at the weekend, and he's taken that off as his little side project to sort out for me. Right. So once I have more details and stuff, I'll let people know. It'll be a bit of crack and
cool. Can we go to the event or not?
Yeah. No, this one will be a
fundraiser.
A fundraiser event
cool.
to add money to. We're 25%. I said to you, we're 25%.
Can we do a pool competition?
Might be able to do a swimming pool competition if you want.
No, fuck that. Can we do a pool competition?
Swimsuit competition. We can throw a pool competition if you want.
I'd love to do playing a pool competition.
You have to know who the sharks are. I'd say Kevin's a bit of a shark at the old pool. He dropped the first couple of.
The local definitely has a bleeding pool table there, and Kev's on it 5 days a week.
He's there. You can walk in. He starts playing left-handed, and halfway through he switches out to right-handed.
Ronnie is his middle name, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right, that's been it. That's been the show. I'm off to my bed. Gav's off to do some more work.
I'm off to play Xbox now.
Kev is off to read up about Ayrton Senna and why Ayrton Senna isn't the greatest sports person of all time.
He's never lived that down.
And that's it. That's the crack. That's been the show. I'll see you all next week, probably. We'll assume that I get through this thing all right on Saturday. not in hospital or something like that, right? So, I'll see you all next week. Otherwise, I'll be coming live from St. Vincent's or something like that with a cast on my head. Good night. God bless. See you all next week. Hit that button, Gav.